Have you ever whispered, "What's the point of believing anymore?" Maybe you're there right now, sitting in the quiet, the weight of everything pressing down, thinking about just letting it all go. The dream, the business, the relationship, the ministry, the constant effort, the prayers that feel like they hit the ceiling and fall right back down. The endless cycle of trying and failing, of hoping and being disappointed. It's a heavy, lonely place to be. I know that feeling. I remember sitting on the edge of my own bed, phone lighting up with notifications I couldn't bear to look at, just thinking, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It felt like the end of the road. If that's you, if you're holding on by a thread, this is for you. This isn't about empty platitudes or just telling you to try harder. It's about a truth that can change everything, especially when you feel like you have nothing left. The truth is, your breaking point is often God's starting point. That moment when you are completely spent, when you have exhausted all your own strength, that's precisely when His strength is made perfect. It feels like an ending, but so often, it's the dark, quiet moment right before the dawn. Let's look at a story you probably know well, but maybe from a different angle. Remember the prophet Elijah? This was a man of incredible faith. He called down fire from heaven on Mount Carmel, defeated 450 prophets of Baal, and saw God move in miraculous ways. He was on a spiritual high. But what happened next? One threat from Queen Jezebel, just one angry woman, and this mighty prophet runs for his life. He goes into the wilderness, sits under a tree, and literally asks God to take his life. He says, "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life." Here is this giant of the faith, completely depleted, utterly convinced it's over. He felt alone, defeated, and like a complete failure. Have you ever felt that way? Like all your past victories mean nothing in the face of your current struggle? That's where Elijah was. He saw only his failure, his fear, his exhaustion. He was ready to quit, not just his ministry, but life itself. But God wasn't finished with him, not even close. God didn't rebuke him or tell him to get over it. Instead, He met Elijah right where he was, in his burnout and despair. What did God do? He sent an angel. And the angel didn't give him a new strategy or a 5-step plan for success. He simply touched Elijah and said, "Get up and eat." There was bread and water, a simple provision. Elijah ate, drank, and went back to sleep. He was that exhausted. The angel came a second time with the same gentle instruction. Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. God knew. He knew the journey was too much. He wasn't surprised by Elijah's weakness. He was ready to provide for it. This is so important. When you feel like you can't go on, God's first response is not a lecture. It's nourishment. It's rest. He knows the journey is too much for you on your own. He never intended for you to do it alone. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is take a nap and eat a good meal. To allow God to restore you physically before He can restore you spiritually. He meets our most basic human needs because He created them. He's not disappointed in your limits. He wants to be the strength within them. After being strengthened by the food, Elijah traveled for 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mountain of God. And there, in a cave, God asks him a simple question. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah unloads all his pain. "I've been so zealous for you, but everyone has abandoned you. They've torn down your altars. And I'm the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too." It's a cry of deep loneliness and perceived failure. He felt like his entire life's work had crumbled to dust. And then God does something amazing. He tells Elijah to stand on the mountain. A powerful wind shatters the rocks, but the Lord was not in the wind. Then an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. Then a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. After the fire, there came a gentle whisper. A still, small voice. Elijah had seen God in the fire on Mount Carmel. He was used to the big, loud, dramatic displays of power. But here, at his lowest point, God didn't come in the storm. He came in the silence. This is a profound lesson for us. We often look for God in the spectacular breakthroughs, the lightning bolt moments. And sometimes he is there. But when we are at our end, when we feel broken and alone, he often meets us in the quiet whisper. He's in the gentle nudge to keep going. He's in the unexpected kindness of a friend. He's in the peace that settles over you when you finally stop striving and just rest in his presence. He is not a God of spectacle alone. He is the God of the still small voice. He is intimately present in our quietest, most desperate moments. And in that whisper, God gave Elijah his next assignment. He renewed his purpose. He told him to go anoint new kings and a new prophet Elisha to succeed him. And then he gave him this beautiful reassurance. Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal. Elijah thought he was all alone, the only one left. But God revealed there was a whole community of faithful people he knew nothing about. His perspective was limited, but God's was complete. He wasn't alone, and his work was not in vain. This is the promise for you too. When you feel like you're the only one, that your struggle is isolated, God sees the 7,000. He sees the community you are a part of, even if you can't. He sees the impact you're having that is hidden from your eyes. Your feeling of being finished is not God's reality. His work through you is not over. He has a new assignment, a renewed purpose, waiting for you on the other side of this exhaustion. Your greatest breakdown can become the soil for your greatest breakthrough. Think about the cross. From a human perspective, it was the ultimate failure. Jesus' disciples scattered. Their hopes were crushed. Everything they had believed in for 3 years seemed to die with him on that tree. It was the darkest moment in history. It was the ultimate "it's over" moment. They were huddled in a locked room, terrified and confused. They had given up. But that moment of absolute despair, that Friday of total defeat, was not the end. It was the necessary prelude to the resurrection. Sunday was coming. Your darkest Friday, the moment you are ready to give up, could be positioning you for a resurrection you cannot yet see. God specializes in turning endings into new beginnings. He uses the soil of our failures to grow the seeds of our future. What feels like a tomb to you might just be a womb for the new thing God is about to birth in your life. The pressure you feel isn't always meant to crush you. Sometimes it's meant to shape you into the person you need to be for the next chapter he has written for you. So before you give up, I want you to 3 things. First, just like Elijah, rest and receive. Stop striving. Stop trying to figure it all out. Give yourself permission to be human, to be tired. Eat a meal. Take a walk. Sleep. Ask God to simply sustain you, to nourish your body and your soul. Don't ask for the whole plan. Just ask for your daily bread, for strength for this one moment. Second, listen for the whisper. Get away from the noise. Turn off the notifications, the endless scrolling, the voices of fear and doubt. Find a quiet place and just sit with God. Don't feel like you have to perform in prayer. Just be present. Tell him you're tired. Tell him you feel like quitting. And then just listen. Listen for that still, small voice. He's not going to shout. He's going to whisper hope into the deepest parts of your soul. And third, remember the 7,000. You are not alone. Even when it feels like it, you are part of a vast story God is writing. Your chapter is important. Reach out to a trusted friend, a pastor, a mentor. Be honest about where you are. And if you're struggling with your mental health, please seek professional help. There is no shame in that. God uses doctors and counselors and therapists. It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to get the help you need. The journey is too much for you alone. That's not a criticism. It's an invitation to lean on him and on the community he has placed around you. Your story isn't over. This feeling of wanting to quit is not the final word. It's a sign that you have been fighting hard, that you have been pouring yourself out for something that matters. Don't mistake exhaustion for failure. It's simply a signal that it's time to refuel, to reconnect with the source of your strength. God is closer than you think. The breakthrough is nearer than it appears. Hold on. The whisper is coming. And on the other side of this is a purpose and a strength you never knew were possible.